MTA expressing outrage after several workers were attacked in 24 hours. One incident in Queens where a bus was stopped at Jamaica Avenue and 132nd Street just before 8 a.m. You see one man kick the bus door and then he walked to the driver's side, and police say he used his fist to smash the window. The driver was not hurt. Passengers got off the bus and got onto another one. Around the same time in Brooklyn, a transit worker was pushed to the tracks at a subway station. 65-year-old conductor was on the platform at the Hoyt Skimmerhorn station when he was pushed into the path of an oncoming train. Transport Workers Union says it appears the assault was unprovoked. The attacker just shoved the conductor and ran away. MTA workers and police were able to stop the train from coming into the station and get the conductor to safety. Union leaders say this incident shows workers need more protection.
He was just doing his job admirably, and we need help. This is a very unsafe environment right now.
The conductor was taken to the hospital with multiple injuries, including broken ribs.
You see, this is actually, in my opinion, this is just a result of poor, management, poor leadership, across the board in the state of affairs that we're in right now. Why do I say that? Again, about 2 months ago, the police officers and law enforcement unions made an announcement in a press conference expressing their displeasure with, the state and local government, saying that the state and local government, and including their own law enforcement administrators and leaders, have not offered any real guidance to the officers in how to, deal with everything that was going on 2 months ago, at the height of the protests that unfolded throughout the country, and the riots and the looting that ensued as a result, specifically, throughout the country, but in this instance in New York City. Police were vilified, and rightfully so, because a lot of police officers have killed black people. Okay? That's just wrong. They've even made the statement that it was wrong. The problem here lies where they're playing hardball, right? The unions, the police officer unions and the law enforcement unions, state police, corrections, what have you, are playing hardball with the leaders, with the governors, with the mayors, with their own top brass. And they're saying if they can't come to an agreement, because what the police officers are saying, there's this clause, something 52A or something like that. The number escapes me, but that's not the point. This initiative or whatever it is that's been in place is supposed to, investigate very closely any interaction that a police officer does. So the officers feel like if they can't do their work, they can't do their job, because if they so much as even touch someone, they're going to be under investigation. So their position, like they stated, was to do their jobs, go home to their families. Okay? They even made examples and stated things like, if there's a criminal running away, they may not chase those criminals. They may not go after anyone who's doing committing any crimes, because if they do, they will be under this investigation from 52A and the state legislator wants to just enact that, and the police officers have voiced their displeasure. Law enforcement has voiced their displeasure. And in other words, if you read between the lines, if you have a brain and you can think and you read between the lines, what they're saying is they're going to look the other way on some crime. They're going to look the other way. Yes, they'll be present. You'll see them out there, but they won't be working at their full 100% potential or give 100% performance. It's just not happening. And as a result, you see the decline in safety. You see it. You see it day by day. It's just crime. It's like a free-for-all right now. It's a free-for-all. You're hearing store owners who don't feel that they're safe because people are just, rummaging through their stores, right? You're hearing about shootings that are taking place, mass amount of shootings, mass amount of killings that are taking place. You're hearing about assaults that are taking place, even rapes, sexual assaults, all types of things that are taking place right now, okay? And you have this mayor, even now with this thing with transit workers who are getting assaulted. Okay? The mayor talks about how, school is the priority. He has this initiative that I guess he wants to be famous for, that once he became mayor, with this kindergarten, pre-K initiative, and that type of, policy making is something he stands by. And social inequality. Who is not in favor of justice for all, right? Everyone wants to be able to, live in freedom and do what it is within, without being discriminated against, without being killed, right? Like unjustly. All of this stuff, we agree with that. But this mayor, who the president has called him flat out Big Bird, this mayor here is just watching the decline. You know how hard it is when you're seeing something taking place in the streets. You're living a certain existence, and it doesn't coincide with what you hear from the reporters, or as far as not reporters, what you hear from the leadership who have been elected to serve the people, as far as how to address some of these problems. Okay? How to address some of these problems. Oh, this is a perfect storm. This is de Blasio, who's the mayor, saying this is all a perfect storm. Everything just hit us all at once. All these problems. I want to curse so bad. It's wake up. Wake up. Because this mayor, in my opinion, he's not doing a good job right now. He's not. Because the police, NYPD, hasn't respected him for a very long time. You see, we understand that there have been incredibly malicious and, to my opinion, illegal practices and unfair practices and disgusting practices committed by these police officers in New York City and throughout the country. These police officers that have just literally killed people, just snuffed them out. Snuffed them out. We know that's wrong. But is it really the majority of the police officers who are doing this? And some people can get into other arguments that, the majority, the blue wall of silence, they don't say anything. They don't reprimand those bad apples. But it's those few bad apples that are representing the whole right now, right? This man, de Blasio, has had a contentious relationship with the NYPD and law enforcement. And now it's even more blatant. It's in your face. It's here. This is what's going on. This is what's happening. And he is aloof. I'm talking about like completely disconnected and indifferent to what's taking place here. It's reminding me of the 70s and the 80s and even 90s of how the streets are turning out to be. Seriously, people are walking during the day, broad daylight. People are walking, going about their business, and you'll have two characters all of a sudden, out of nowhere, start shooting at each other. It's on camera. Start shooting at each other. And it's willy-nilly. People, they just boom, 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 boom. They're not even aiming right. They're not even shooting right. Anyone could get hit by a stray bullet. Placing everyone like it's nothing. We've already had crime. We've already had problems, of course. But then, the whole narrative of the pandemic forcing him to think about releasing inmates. Check this out. Check this out. Check this out. Gangs, right, has been an element that's been here for a very long time. Gangs like to talk about protecting their own, protecting their communities, protecting their neighborhoods. Why don't I even hear about these gangs that profess to, have some type of positive element attached to them? If you want the community at large, right, the citizens to really believe in your protocol, to believe in your street code, why aren't they protecting the streets? Why aren't they really living up to their whole, many of them that profess to want to protect their own? Is it because they're engaging in it too? Right? You know what I mean? But they don't like to be vilified. Gangs don't like to be vilified. But look at what's going on. Look at what's going on. I'm not here to place judgment. I'm just here to present information, separate feelings from factual information here. The TV, the news, whatever media outlets that report these incidents that are taking place here are only reporting what they know about. What about the incidents that they do not know about? But then you have this mayor who's so freaking aloof. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And it shows me how low the morale is, not only in this area, this city, New York, but across the board. The protests that are going on across this country, the killings that are going on across this country, where I feel like it's you have these elected officials from the top to the bottom, these elected officials who are squabbling while people are dying. It's the tale of two cities, right? Parallel universe. It's gonna come to a head where those parallels will meet at one point. And then what? And then what's gonna happen? If you believe in a higher power, just hold on, man. Hold on so you could get through this. If you don't, hold on anyway. If you don't believe in a higher power, hold on to something, because there's no real end in sight right now. There's no end in sight right now. Not from the way that these people are talking. As far as the elected officials in the world, it's about election, it's about politics. People are playing politics at the helm of the, lives of the citizens, of the people, while the people, their lives are just, we're just like on a board, completely expendable on a game. It's like they're playing a game with our lives. Our lives are at the helm. It's like until something happens to them, that's when they'll really respond. Right now, it's just pens, black and white, pushing paper and talk, because they're still getting paid. Their livelihoods are really not as affected as everyone else, like our lives are. They don't have to worry about the crimes that are taking place. They don't have to worry about, not having work. They don't have to worry about how they're going to be able to eat and take care of their families, keep a roof over their head. They don't have to worry about that. We do, though. But they don't, until it happens to them. And, at some point, because those of us who've lived in degradation, deprivation for a very long time, hey, we know how to manage. We know how to manage, because it's added to our character. It's added to our level of resilience. So the energies might shift. Instead of having us be the recipient of their wrongdoings, of their mismanagement, of their, they swinging their phallic symbols to see who has the bigger testicles, this game that they're playing, this political nonsense that they're playing, the energy might shift away from us and to them, to where once they start to feel the pain themselves, real, wholeheartedly, then that's when maybe they'll wake up and say, oh, let me get back down to earth where I belong, instead of living up in the sky somewhere, thinking that everything is peachy keen, because it's not. It's not. It's not. And for some people, many people don't understand, man. When you climb up that ladder of success and you pass all these people, right? At some point, because you forgot where you came from, you come crashing all the way down. And who do you see while you crashing down? The same people that you had passed going up. And they're looking at you and laughing. And that's what's going to happen to many of these people. You watch, mark my word. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.